dorming and dining, dorming and dining, textbooks and supplies, how to get involved, transportation at UCI, some UCI resources such as LARC, Fresh Hub, the Student Social Science Academic Resource Center, Division of Career Pathways, and the Counseling Center. And then finally, we have some fun things to do at UCI, such as the UTC, which is the University Town Center, Spectrum, Diamond Jamboree, and the Marketplace. And we also have different other kind of mini resources and tricks and tips as well. Oh, and I know you're all uncontrollably excited, so let's get started. All right, so dorms, what's inside? You're probably gonna get a twin XL bed. Don't make the mistake like I did and just get a twin sheet, because I got a twin sheet and it was not long enough, so I had to go get another sheet. You'll have a desk and closet. I will say there is kind of limited space in there, so make sure to pack what you need only. There is a upperclassman, and she's also one of my friends, who's been passing down this packing list for the past couple of years. I think, Patrick, if you're also able to link that in the chat, it might be easier to access. It has different packing for dorms when you move into your apartments. She also does traveling a lot, so I think there's also a travel list in there too. Things to do in housing: go to your resident advisor planned programs. So every hall has a resident advisor in it. Logan was a RA this past year, and maybe he can share a little bit about his experiences and different programs he hosted for his residents. If you'd like to I like to open that space too, if you'd like to jump in, Logan.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, so in my hall last year, we did a lot of different things, but I'd say some of the more popular events we did, we had a poker night, we had movie nights, we did painting in the park, we did a scavenger hunt. Really, it's all different stuff that your RA is going to do. So you're going to have a unique experience in your first year, but they'll also have community-based ones that are for the entire housing community. So if you have friends in other dorms, you'll have events that you can go to together with them. They'll have movie screenings, movies on the grass, and there's a whole bunch of stuff to do. You will not be short on events to do in housing communities. But yeah, hope you guys have a good dorming experience.
I had a thought, Logan. Can people who are not part of housing also attend those things? It's been a long time since I've been a student, so.
Well, if it's the movies one, movies in the grass, yeah, of course. But if it's something where you're getting something, one time we had a ice cream sandwich day, you kind of need a housing ID or a student ID with a housing contract to get it. So you can't get any free stuff, but you can attend the group stuff.
Cool. And then if Nirvana would also like to share her housing experience, that'd be cool too.
Yeah, so I lived in Playa, which is in the Mesa Court Towers my first year, and I had a really great experience. I'm still friends with my RA. We just got lunch together a week ago, and I had a really good time in the dorms, and I still live with the same people I lived with my first year. We all ended up being really close friends, and I actually did also work as a center attendant in Mesa Court the following year. So for my second year, I was working as a center attendant, so I was still kind of around and involved in Mesa Court activities and more on the administrative side, but it was still a really good experience. And I remember those ice cream sandwich days. Those were my favorite days, because ice cream sandwiches are my favorite dessert ever. So you're it's kind of exactly how Logan described. You're definitely never short on events and things just are always happening around. So it's a good time.
Cool. And then, yeah, definitely plan, aside from your RA events, the housing communities also have event programmers that do plan different events during Welcome Week. They have movie nights. My favorite one was the petting zoo. That's why I included that. I know Middle Earth, they had they brought in goats. For Mesa Court, they had sheep and chickens, but chickens are actually kind of scary. One of them bit me when I was trying to pet it, but so don't pet chickens. But other things is during finals week, every quarter, you'll have quiet hours. And that's just to, respect that people have finals and you want to like have that quiet time to study as well. And right at the beginning of the year, your RA will also facilitate like roommate agreements within your like room, just so you can kind of get like these baseline like regulations or like rules set with your roommate in terms of what they're comfortable with. Cool. Next, dining. UCI dining for first years, when you get like the housing contract, you're also required to sign up for dining. So on the top picture, we have Brandywine, which is the dining in Middle Earth. And then the bottom is the Anteater, which is dining in Mesa Court. Quick facts, you can switch your plans after your first quarter is what I am like, which is what I was able to do. Logan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if that changed this year. But I know like an email form is typically sent out at the beginning of like December usually, that you can like switch. Best meals, in my opinion, was the weekend brunch. I love the omelets. Those are so good. And then also late night. Like the dining halls are open at different times. And then each time has different kind of like food, I guess. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then late night. So if you're, up at night like me, definitely getting those chicken nuggets with barbecue sauce. Super good. And other things to note is that if you do have like allergies and stuff, UCI is free of, I believe, the top 10 allergens. And if you do like have like really specific requirements, you can definitely work with the chefs to get what you need. As part of your meal plan, you can also get Zot bucks. These can be used on most on-campus dining, such as like Jamba Juice, Panda Express, Subway. Fun fact, the founder of Wahoo Fish Grill was a UCI alum. So they have they have like a Wahoo fish thing right on campus too. So you can use that there. And they do roll over each quarter. So if you are able to use it, you can like kind of accumulate more. As well as you're also able to get 10 guest swipes per quarter. That means you can swipe in 10 people per quarter. So if you meet a lot of like upperclassmen, they might ask you to swipe them in a lot because all of them are like hungry because they don't have a dining plan. Another thing you do is if you download like the Grubhub app, you can also order from on-campus food, on-campus dining, and then you can get delivery or pickup. They come in like these little Starship robot things, and they come to right like where you're located. So that's also a really cool thing. And I saw a question in the chat, are there delivery services that provide student discounts? I'll open that up to also Logan, Nirvana. As far as I'm like understanding, no. But maybe they have a different experience.
I'm not sure if there are any like delivery services that provide student discounts, but I know there's like certain restaurants in the UTC that definitely do provide student discounts. And people are always like handing out coupons. Like you'll always find like a coupon to like the Habit or something. And there's always like events going on then. So yeah.
I know that you can get the little Starship, the like the Zot bots delivered to the dorms using your meal plan. So if you have Zot bucks on your card, you can use the little, I don't know what app it is, but we have like these little like robots that can deliver food from campus to the dorms, and they're like really cool. So you can use your ID and order like Starbucks right to your dorm, so you don't have to go as like, finals week, you're like, I don't want to walk over there. You actually have a little robot deliver your drink over to you. So that's all I know for that.
Cool. And then just to kind of explain a little bit more how the swipes work, basically like the dining commons are kind of like buffet style. So you just kind of swipe your ID card at like the front desk type of thing, and you just walk in and you can stay in as long as you want, before they close. And then you also get as much food as you want. Not too sure what a VMP is. if Logan or Nirvana know, or if you know what the non-acronym name for it is. There's 3 types of meal plans. There's the 7-day unlimited, which is you can go in every single day, anytime you want, just swipe in. And then there's the 5-day, which is the difference between that is it's also unlimited, but you can't go in on weekends. So if you want to cook, you have the weekend. And then there's the 100-day plan, which you can only swipe in. I don't know, not 100-day, 100 swipes. So you can only swipe into the dining commons 100 times. Voluntary meal plan. Do you mean by if you're not a first year, you can also buy the voluntary meal plan as like an upperclassman? Because I know for first years it's mandatory, but later on, if you move off campus, you can also buy the meal plans as well. Maybe if Nirvana or Logan or Patrick can also go through like the dining site, and then because I don't know the specifics when it comes to like the upperclassmen like meal plans. I know for me, my second year, I purchased Zot Bucks specifically because I wanted to eat on the campus, like Panda Express and stuff. Okay, cool. That definitely gives a lot more context. I think that can be like a more individualized question later on. It's really more about like if you want the convenience of being able to just eat and then leave your food at the dining commons.
I can also like provide some more information about like your I see the question that Nuhamen put in the chat about living in AV. I know that typically students in AV will buy about like I say like on average you'll usually buy like the 100 block meal plan, or they'll purchase something like that as opposed to like the full 7 days, because in AV you do have a kitchen in like your living space. So it's almost more like an apartment or like a house with like a bunch of like rooms and then like one big kitchen. They do have kitchens in the dorms as well, but because the dorms do come with, and like those expenses come with like a meal plan, typically students will just buy like the 7 or 5 day. But I know like since AV is like also located like kind of further away from like the dorm they're kind of away from like the on-campus dorms and away from like the dining halls. People will usually just buy like a limited meal plan.
Cool, thank you for jumping in, Nirvana. So next, just to kind of keep on track with time, textbooks. Where to buy? You can buy from the Hill. It's on the bottom floor, by the way. I got lost the first time. From Amazon, they usually have like cheaper versions from upperclassmen. And then you can also go onto Facebook for the free and for sale pages. There's a lot of different like free pages, or not free pages, but like pages where people are trying to sell their stuff. And oftentimes upperclassmen try to sell their books as well. If you'd like to get free books, you can just Google your title of your textbook and then free PDF. It might take a while, but they do exist. And then Patrick, if you could also kind of link those, like the mega folder, Library Genesis, and like the archive. Those are kind of big like folders or like archives where you can find older versions of the textbooks that upperclassmen have also like passed down these links. So it definitely helps because you'll be able to like, for like the major classes, you can definitely find like the textbooks that are required. It might not be the exact version, but definitely, having like 1 or 2 older editions still help as well. Supplies. 2 main things you'll probably encounter are Scantrons and your green blue books. So Scantrons, make sure to check you have the right one for your class. They're like really specific. So if you get like the wrong one, they might not let you take the test, or you might have to like scramble to buy one. Green books and blue books, they're like the exact same thing. The green version is just like the more eco-friendly one, where you can get free supplies. Sometimes in housing or ASUCI, different success initiatives or resource centers will give out like free Scantrons and stuff. So definitely go and like collect those. Otherwise, you can buy it at the bookstore, or there's also like this vending machine kind of right outside the bookstore that you can also get supplies from too. Next, getting involved. As a first year, you're probably like curious, oh, how can I get involved? Well, first, there's different types of organizations. You have registered campus organizations, and these are kind of like the cultural and interest clubs that students can form. And then you also have Greek life and professional fraternities as well. Other, free involvements is student government. You can apply to be a orientation program staffer. I'm sure all of y'all have gone through the orientation program, and all the students there kind of volunteer their time to be the staff. So you can do so as well. Different resource centers also have different workshops, programs, and internships that you can also apply and get involved through that. And you can also get involved through research. So there's the undergraduate research opportunities program that helps you get involved. You can reach out to professors to work in their labs, field work, etc. During Welcome Week, there's going to be the Anteater Involvement Fair, and you can see kind of photos of that right there. A lot of the clubs and organizations will come out and like booth, and there's typically like a lot of students. Okay, question about APAD concerts. Right now, APAD is slated to be in person, depending on, COVID and restrictions and stuff. But since it's outdoors, it has been like approved for in person. So definitely look forward to that. And then if it does get moved to online, there will be, appropriate messaging and emails as well. And if Nirvana or Logan also want to share like their experiences getting involved as like a first year or different clubs they join, opening that space here.
Yeah, so I joined a bunch of clubs in my first few weeks on campus, and my strategy was basically just join like a whole bunch and then just pick the ones I like. So you don't have to stick with the club, you're not committing to like 4 years if you just go to like a club's like first quarters meetings. So that's what I would recommend. And then also, I wasn't really satisfied with the kind of pre-law resources that were available on campus. Like they didn't really fit what I wanted. So I just ended up making my own club. It's moot court on campus. If any of y'all are pre-law and want to join a cool pre-law club, shameless plug there. But you can always start your own club as well. So if you and like-minded friends want to do something and it's not here, you can make it. So that's probably the two things I'd say you should be doing your first year.
Yeah, and I just want to echo off of what Logan said as well. I also did something very similar. I started a club with my friends in the beginning of my third year. So last year, I'm a fourth year. I'm going to be a fourth year in the fall. So we started this club. It's called Anteater Civil Liberties Union, where we just host meetings where we talk about socio-political issues, and we also host like events, and we do like mutual aid projects each quarter, and we do we try to also work with faculty, and we do a lot of stuff. So like if you can't find something on campus that like suits like your interests or exactly like defines those interests, you can always just like make friends and do something on your own and get people involved. So that's always like a very useful source as well. But there are so many like great opportunities and great ways to get involved on campus through like clubs and organizations. I was in ASUCI for some time, and also like through my job I work as a CalFresh advocate at the Fresh Basic Needs Hub. That's like also like given me a lot of access to like different resources, and also with like DAC, being on DAC has also like been a really great experience where I have like so much access like faculty and like information on campus. So there's like so many ways to get involved on campus, whether it be like clubs or doing internships or jobs on campus. There's more than enough opportunities for everybody.
Cool. And then we have a question asking how many credits or extracurriculars did you balance? Was it stressful? Specifically, Mimi's enrolled in 12 credits and planned to join LVO's dance team. And she's kind of nervous that's going to be hard to balance. One thing to note is, oh, I love LVO. Some of my like friends are on that. And actually one of them just graduated, but so you know, probably not meet her, but she's really nice and stuff. Their team is like really, their team is really kind of like beginner friendly and definitely really supportive as a whole. So on that point, they're not one of like the more serious dance teams that do kind of like go really hard and stuff, for, you know, lack of a better word. But if anyone wants to talk about like balancing classes and extracurriculars as well.
Yeah, I can answer this. I think my best advice that I can provide anyone is to just know what your limits are. So like you might feel like 12 credits is a lot, or like you might feel like 12 credits is just what you need, you know, and then like you might hear somebody else like around you being like, oh my God, I'm taking 20 units. And that might like make you feel pressured to like, oh, like, am I not doing enough? Like, should I be taking 20 units? So like, don't listen to anybody around you. Like you kind of just have to block out that, and for like, you have to just block it out. Like people I feel like are very much like in like, you know, constant competition, you know, with one another. So you just have to focus on yourself, you know, like if like, you know, your limits, like try it out, like 12 credits. Most people enter college in like their first quarter, they do 12 credits. When they enter winter quarter, they might do more. They might just stay at 12 credits. Some people, as long as you're on track to graduate and you're doing what you need to do, and you're even like, you know, like you're doing like what you can, like that's just what matters the most, you know. And I think like if you plan on taking other extracurricular activities, like you have to kind of factor those in with like how much, you know, schooling you want to, how much you want to designate for like your school and like your classes, right? So if you want to be able to balance it, then you have to do exactly that, like balance it. So you don't want to overload yourself. So yeah, just know your limits, like know what you're capable of doing, and just yeah.
I completely agree with Nirvana. You're gonna meet a lot of people who are just kind of like insane. Like one of my friends in my professional fraternity takes like 24 to 28 units a quarter through request. Then he also does like 3 classes at CC at the same time. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's just like, oh, I just want to take more. Like, I don't know what he's doing, but somehow he doesn't fail. And I'm like, okay, sure. But I'm just kind of like, once I hit 16 units, I'm like, okay, what am I doing? This is too much. So really it's all about like what you're comfortable with. If you're one of those 20 unit people who just, you know, does everything and doesn't sleep, like good for you. But you know, you can catch me over here taking 12 every quarter and doing whatever I want. So do what works for you.
Cool, thank you for that. For the second question about work study, we can kind of like table that for now and then address it when we talk about the Career Center. Next, real quickly, going through transportations, a thing to note is first years living on campus are not allowed to bring their cars unless you fill out an exemption application and show need. And that's because UCI is like trying to be rate sustainable and stuff. So they, you know, want you to not bring cars and pollute the earth, basically. But things most students use is the Anteater Express. It goes around like UCI. You can go from like Mesa Court to the gym, basically. And then you can sign up for Zipcar. UCI has like a student Zipcar university like program thing. I think it's like a $7 sign up, and then every year you like pay a fee as well. Biking and skateboarding is pretty big at UCI, and you can also get the OC bus pass too. So tips: download the Anteater Express app so you know when the bus is coming. Register your bike. If you don't have one, UCI usually has a bike fair for you to buy one. And it's important to register your bike because, you know, some bikes do get stolen. So being able to like register your bike is important so you can be able to find it later on. Or if you like leave your bike on campus too long, they might like, you know, cut the lock and like take it to like the bike impound. So if you register your bike, at least you can kind of know, you know, where your like which one is your bike. And then if you buy like the university pass for OC bus, you can save 80% and it's valid for like a whole year. and it's significantly cheaper. So I can see some questions in the chat. How hard is it to get one on the weekend for Zipcar, I'm assuming? Okay, cool. Nirvana did say she would say reserve it in advance, and I definitely agree. Last minute, you probably won't get like the option you want, and there's usually about like maybe 2 or 3 Zipcars in like the closest parking lot to you. So if you don't like book it in advance, you might have to go across campus just to get like a Zipcar. Skateboard friendly. We'll say there's a lot of hills at UCI. So like around Ring Road is pretty friendly, but there are kind of limits to when you can like, be on wheels because UCI is kind of pedestrian first. A lot of students I know end up getting like electric skateboards just so they're, they have that extra push. Something else people do is scootering. A lot of people have scooters too. And specific bike paths. There's not really like a bike path. There's technically only kind of like 2 paths you can go on like around UCI. It's like the outer ring road and the inner ring road. So you just need to be aware of like the signs posted on campus of like when you can bike or not bike. I would say inner ring road is more friendly towards biker because there's like a specific bike lane. Yeah. Cool. And then next, we're going to hit some resources at UCI. So first, introducing the LARC, which is the Learning Academic Resource Center. Basically, they provide workshops and tutoring for large courses and study hours. Something as first years you probably experience are like the giant, bio classes, chem classes, or like calc classes. So they do offer kind of like tutoring. They're course and professor specific, so make sure to select the professor that you have. And then it happens 2 times a week for 15 minutes. They do like class review plus exam preparation. And then it's 110 per quarter, which kind of like divides out into $5.50 per session. Some other programs they do have are also kind of like drop-in study hours you can do. They also do kind of like academic skills workshops. But for like the tutoring itself, the last day to add that during each quarter is the Friday of week 6 at 4 p.m. But the classes do start week 1. So if you want to get your, money's worth, definitely join at the beginning if you feel like you're gonna struggle. A lot of like the beginner classes are kind of considered like weeding classes. So they're like difficult because they kind of want you to, fail for lack of a better word. But, the LARC really does come in clutch with that. One of my friends, Ashley, she joined like LARC her first year after getting a C on her calc midterm. And she was like, yeah, she definitely would not have passed that class without LARC. So I definitely would recommend it if, STEM classes are something that you struggle with. And, it's like really cheap compared to like other types of tutoring services too. Next is the Fresh Basic Needs Hub. They provide basic needs, life skill programs, and connect students on and off campus resources. Some other specific things they do are like the CalFresh application assistant. They have the emergency meal site program. So as you know or learned earlier, each year you get like 10, each quarter you get 10 guest swipes. So for people who don't need their guest swipes, you can actually donate it to the Fresh Hub. And then those swipes will go on to students who are food insecure and might, appreciate being able to get swiped in to the dining commons for free. Other things they do have is a food pantry. Basically you like sign up for the membership and then you get to pick up like a basket and you fill up your basket with, different fresh groceries, canned goods, snacks from the pantry. they actually have a really wide variety of stuff. So if you are able to go, I would recommend going. And it's not just only for students who are food insecure, although that is like the target, but just students in general can also all sign up for the free membership. Starting back again in fall is going to be their life skills programs, and they do kind of like cooking classes and financial wellness. So be on the lookout for those. And yeah, it's like free for all students, so join if you can. Next, you're all here for School of Social Sciences. So as part of that is the School of Social Sciences Academic Resource Center. What is it? A center for social science students to help them become like professionals and boost their academic portfolios. Some programs and resources there's like graduate school application and consultation, the first generation first quarter challenge, which I'm sure Patrick can also like go more in depth about that in a second. There's an internship database, and you can also do different types of certification programs in research, public speaking, and leadership. If Patrick wants to like jump in real quick.
Yeah, so some of you may have actually received an email regarding the first generation first quarter challenge already. Essentially what it is like a program that helps you integrate into the university. So, some of you have questions like, how do I navigate around campus, or like, oh, how do I manage my finances while I'm here? And they go a little bit more in depthly, kind of like, instead of doing like a big overall summary of it, they'll have different sessions that focus on each of these different topics. And you'll be able to answer a lot of questions from students who are already going through it as well. The first gen program is created by first generation faculty and first generation students. So they kind of take into the need, like, what is it that students typically need help with to succeed in their first quarter. And, we make sure that we give you the foundation to be able to succeed in the beginning. So that way you can kind of focus on how you're going to succeed for the remainder of your years here. Because, typically the first quarter is like, it's kind of like how in an interview, you're kind of like, you can know if you want to hire somebody within the first 5 minutes. Well, being at the university, the first quarter is kind of like the foundation of how you might be in the future. So you want to make sure that you start out pretty strong. So yeah, I'll link it actually here so you can see more information about it too. Thanks, Michelle.
Cool. All right, next is the division of career pathways. Ivana, if you want to jump in real quick too.
Oh yeah, so the Division of Career Pathways, it's a very, very useful resource on campus. They review your resumes. They also get you in contact with like internship positions, and they definitely work with you in determining like what you want to do career-wise post-grad. So if you need to schedule an appointment with an advisor here, at any time during the school year, I highly advise that you do so. And they really just help guide you with like the programs in and outside of campus. So yeah.
Cool. And then adjusting like the work study question from before, on UCI Handshake, there is a lot of different like postings all the time. I would say like throughout the year, a lot of different work study positions are always opening up. So even if you're not applying like your first quarter, you can always just look again later on, and there definitely will be postings.
Yeah, I can actually like also answer some more questions on that, because so for work study, like you're awarded your work study on like your financial aid award package, right? And then if you don't necessarily have to apply to like only work study positions to work study, like you can get a job anywhere, and then you can just let them know at like when you like meet with HR that you want to use your work study for this job. So there's not like I know like someone mentioned that there's that they're worried that those positions will fill up fast. It doesn't necessarily work that way. You'll see listings that they'll be like, oh, we're looking for somebody with work study, because a lot of jobs on campus, they'll want somebody to use they'll want to hire people who have work study just so that they can be like pay them through financial aid kind of. But you can really work any job on campus, and then just let them know that you want to use your work study award for like to get paid, and like just like you coordinate with like HR. So like you don't necessarily only only have to apply to those positions that say only work study, but just make sure that you're working on like the on-campus jobs that will allow you to use that. And yes, so you only are awarded work study if it's on your financial aid award. So work study, if it's not on your financial aid award, then you don't have it. You can coordinate with the financial aid office and ask if they can award you and like, you know, a work study award if they have extra funding for that. And you can coordinate with them there, but it's something that's already predetermined based on like your income.
Alrighty, y'all. So college isn't always easy, you know. You're gonna have finals, midterms, you're gonna have tough classes, tough stuff to do. And sometimes, you know, the stress builds up, but luckily UCI has a counseling center on campus that you can go to. Basically it's like mental health, you know, it's really on at college there's really no real stigma towards like mental health at this point. Like we've gotten very far in the whole defeating the stigma of seeking help, at least at UCI I'd say. So you can go to the counseling center anytime. You know, they have short-term stuff, you know, 8 to 10 weeks. You can go in, just kind of like talk to someone. I'd say, you know, it doesn't have to be like you're, you know, super depressed and like can't even like get out of bed to warrant going to the counseling center. It could be you're just really stressed about your upcoming finals, you know, and just want to talk to someone about it. So you can go over there and, you know, talk to someone for like an hour. They have like group therapy stuff too. There's like a whole bunch of different workshops they do. They also collaborate with some stuff in ASUCI. There's like a mental health commission that does work with them. So there's really like no shortage of resources available from the counseling center, and it's completely free. So you can call or go in person, or I think they even have appointments available through their website. And if you have any questions about that, you know, once you're actually in school and, you know, you're not sitting in a DAC workshop where we're telling you about it, you can always ask your RA, because your RA will be familiar with everything that the counseling center has to offer and how it works. So if you need it, go for it.
Oh, thank you. And some cool apps to download relating to like some of these resources is Thought Finder. It helps you find buildings, rooms, even faculty at UCI, and also gives you like a path there. So if you're lost, definitely use Thought Finder. Translog or Translog, I'm not sure how to say that. The Anteater Express app was updated, and then they're now working with like Translog maybe to kind of track where the Anteater buses are, and they provide updates every second. And then there's the UCI Campus Recreation app, which helps you register for classes. And you also need like a barcode now to enter the ARC, which is the Anteater Recreation Center. So if you want to, you know, use like the gym, definitely get that app as well, so you can get the barcode. And then UCI Now lets you kind of know of different events and activities happening in Student Center, Ring Mall, the Terrace, and the Cross Cultural Center too. More centers and resources. You can, if you want to study abroad, go to the Study Abroad Center. If you need help writing papers, cover letters, go to the Writing Center located in the Science Library on the top floor. It's like pretty useful because every student is required to fulfill like a writing requirement. So they help you with kind of analyzing the prompt, breaking it down, and then figuring out how to like organize your ideas. There's a Center for Student Wellness and Health Promotion located in Student Center on the second floor. If you want to know more about like self-care, wellness, different workshops on those, definitely go there. They have 2 massage chairs, so you can kind of reserve those. And I think it's like 15 minutes, you can sit in a massage chair. And you also get free condoms from there. So be safe. And then finally, UROP, which is the Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program. They help you plan for independent research, getting in contact with professors, etc. And they also provide funding if you do want to end up doing your own research. Finally, probably what a lot of people have been waiting for, fun things to do at UCI. So right across the campus is the University Town Center. It's basically like a place to get daily necessities and foods. There is Target, Trader Joe's, Miniso there, and some foods that one of our DAC members recommended is Gogi Grill, share tea, cha, because UCI students love boba, insomnia cookies, etc. And a lot of students will also just come here to kind of chill and meet up because it is right across center, so it's really convenient for students. One tip is you can get your packages delivered to the Amazon locker at UTC, and you can also use that to also return your stuff as well. So it's definitely really convenient. Next is Spectrum. If Logan or Nirvana wants to talk about Spectrum a little bit.
Sure, I'll go. The Irvine Spectrum, it's really fun. There's a lot of like nice places to eat, like bougie restaurants and like regular restaurants, and like nice activities like the Ferris wheel. I believe around Christmas time, they kind of turn like that lawn that you see there into an ice skating rink. So that's nice as well. There's like activities there. They have like movie nights. They had like drive-in movies in the parking lot at some point, I believe. So there's always things going on. The Anteater Express used to run there. Now it's not, which is unfortunate. However, you still can use like the OC bus, drive, Uber, Lyft. You can also, get a zip car and go over there. It's just on the 405 and then you exit on like Irvine Center Drive and then you're there. So it's like not too far and it's pretty accessible. And there's like a lot of nice things going on. So if you want to go and hang out over there, then I recommend it. It's pretty nice. And it's outdoors too, so it's like very airy and open.
Next is Diamond Jamboree, located in Irvine. It's like a big food spot that students like to go to. Generally, the theme here is like a lot of Asian food. The Anteater Express also used to run here, but also because of COVID, no longer going here. So if you do happen to like Uber, here it's more helpful than driving because there is like kind of limited parking. So it's always like a little scary to park here because I do have to say like some people are not good at parking in this plaza. Some things to eat are pho, kura sushi, BCD Tofu House. BCD Tofu House used to be open 24 hours. I think they're only open until like 2 or 3 now. So if you are like hungry at night, definitely go to Tofu House. Somi for ice cream, 85 degrees. There's a new boba place called Sun right there, and you can also get hot pot. And if you do want kind of like Asian groceries, they have a H Mart there too. Next, the marketplace in Tustin. Some major stores here is like BJ's, so a lot of like orgs might go there on like Pasuki Tuesdays to kind of have like a dinner with everyone and get, was it? I think it's $3 Pazukis or $2, I forgot. There's also Black Dot, which is like a popular coffee shop that a lot of students like. There's a closer one too, right at like the Google campus, kind of near the airport. There's a Snooze AM breakfast brunch place here. If you want to experience Amazon's like cool grocery shopping thing, where you just kind of like put your groceries in and it calculates it for you, I think. There's an Amazon Fresh store here as well. You can also watch a movie, and this one's also outdoors. So if you just want to like sit outdoors, relax and study, they also have a lot of places too. Oh, wait, oops. If Logan wants to share like the other UCI student hotspots.
Yeah, so Red Castle, KBBQ classic, if someone in your dorms has a birthday, like this is a great place to just take them so you guys can just enjoy KBBQ. There's also like a ton of KBBQ places nearby. There's Chic Du Rack, there's Jen, lots of good places, honestly, to get KBBQ around here. There's no shortage. Seaside, this is like the classic like freshman spot, to be honest. Like every freshman raves about going to Seaside. That's like their biggest like flex. Like, oh, I went to Seaside last night. I was like, what? No fair. So it's like a donut place, Newport. It's like right on the ocean. They have really good donuts, and they have a green Thai iced tea that will always have a special place in my heart. It's delicious. Orobe, it's a boba shop on Culver. There's also a Daiso, Mitsuwa. Like basically, if you're looking for boba or like anything Asian, you can go over there, get some stuff. And then also the Santa Ana taco trucks. A little bit hard to get to if you don't have a car, so you might have to wait till your second year. But if you can find a way to get there, they have really good tacos over there. It's kind of hard to describe like where they are. They're just kind of like down like a little like alley road, and there's just like 12 taco trucks there, and they're all like fantastic. But yeah, those are some good places I'd say around UCI that you'll see a lot of UCI students.
Yeah, it's a good time. I love Santa Ana. There's like so many good places to eat there. It's so fun. Like downtown Santa Ana is always lit. And other places like Little Saigon, which is like Westminster Garden Grove area, so many good places to eat there. Like it's insane. Newport Beach, it's always like fun at night. And if you want to go swimming at the beach, you can go to like Crystal Cove, and like Laguna has like really good, nice beaches as well, and like good places to eat too. And yeah, and like also if you don't want to like if you want to explore other places, like go to other cities. I'm not sure if this is going to be on the slideshow yet, but there's a metro link like station in Tustin, and it takes you directly like to downtown LA, and it's like a 12-minute drive from campus, so most students will just like Uber there. But you get on like the metro link, and then you can just drive, like it'll like it's like a train all the way down to it stops on like all these different places, like downtown Orange, downtown Fullerton, Anaheim, but then like the end location is like downtown LA. So if you want to do that too, that's also an option.
Yeah, and then kind of building off of that, I've done that before. I like literally bought like a concert ticket like the night before, and then me and my friend, we just hopped on the train to LA, and then just kind of used the scooters in LA to get around. If you want to go in the opposite direction, you can also go down to San Diego. I don't think it goes down like all the way to like downtown San Diego. It kind of stops like a little before. But still doable. So I think Irvine's really great because you're kind of situated in between like two really big cities, and you're like it's pretty accessible to get to either one.
Yeah, it goes all the way to Oceanside, and you just change at Oceanside, and then you can still get to downtown San Diego. You just have to like hop off the train and then get on like the one right next to it. But yeah, it's really like exactly what Michelle described. It's like really fun. So
All right, Q&A. If anyone has questions, we'll like leave space for questions. I didn't see any in the chat. Yes, these slides will be shared afterwards. For the 100 meal plan, is that enough? I can't speak on other people, but I actually had the 100 like meal plan, and it was enough for me. Like, to be honest, I was like really conservative with my swipes and stuff because I was like, I only have 100. But I didn't feel like I didn't have food because I personally like to cook as well. So in the dorms, you also have a kitchen, so I cooked in there. And also because of like my friends in the dorms did have like the 7-day or 5-day like unlimited swipes and like the guest swipes. They would swipe me in too. So I think it was like manageable, especially if you're like me and you don't eat 3 meals a day. It definitely works out well. Anteater involvement fair, right now it's slated to be in person. Also, due to COVID and stuff, things might change, but there hasn't been a lot of details on that yet because they're kind of transitioning between leadership. So I think when that's more settled, more information will come out about the Anteater involvement fair. Coffee on campus. There's like Starbucks. The main one in Student Center is always really packed. But I will say, like any Starbucks, definitely order online first because like you're gonna be in that line forever. And I'm sure like Nirvana or like Logan can also talk about like their experience with coffee or Starbucks. Or there's also like the cafe in the arts building too.
yeah, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I do occasionally go to Starbucks for like desserts. And yeah, line's always super long. There's also like, what is it called? Java something. There's like other like smaller like coffee like vendors on campus that like are really, really good. And that, you know, if you don't want to wait in line for Starbucks, you can always just like stop by one of those. And there's like about like 3 or 4 different other ones, I think. So those are always a good option too. There's one in engineering, the the art department area, which is like by Mesa Court. And then there's another one like kind of by social sciences. So you have a few options.
Yeah, so caffeine wise, I mean, I've worked and volunteered as a barista for the last like 7 years of my life. So I think I know what I'm talking about with coffee. Um, on campus, honestly, like you're probably not gonna be able to get that much good coffee, in my opinion. So if you want coffee on campus, I'd say just go to the dining hall and get a couple espresso shots. Like they're just as good as whatever you're gonna get at Starbucks across the street that you'll pay money for. If you want good coffee in the area, I'd recommend Moon Goat. Moon Goat is in Costa Mesa. It's delicious. They make really good coffee over there. Also, Morning Lavender and Tustin, my old workplace, they have some really good coffee there as well. Those are my 2 recommendations.
Cool, thank you. Um, and then, you know, some quick words of advice since we're kind of like really short on time now. Maybe just like maybe your motto for how you approached your first year. And then like if you're worried or like stressed, like what kind of things you did that, or what advice you have that would kind of help ease those like stresses. And then I can go first. My motto, definitely like kind of going off what Logan said earlier about like clubs, join everything you can. And then if you don't like it, just be like, I'm focusing on school now, and then just leave. No one really like, no one's watching you, no one like cares, everyone's doing their own thing, everyone's really busy, and everyone also understands like school is important. So if you know, if it does come to the point where you're not interested in like what you're doing, like don't feel like you're stuck in that. And then next, for things that, you know, if you're worried about stress, coming to like a whole campus and transitioning, definitely join like a mentorship program on campus. There's like a lot. There's one in student government, the Anteater mentorship program. There's a first generation first quarter challenge. If you're in honors, there's like honors program. As well, a lot of different clubs also have like big little programs. So definitely getting like a contact person who's like an upperclassman and have experience is really useful. And it also like, for me, it made me like feel more like safe and like comfortable to like reach out to someone who I know is like my mentor too.
Yeah, great. Michelle basically took the words out of my mouth. So thank you, Michelle, for sharing. But yeah, last words of advice I have is just like, do your thing, you know, do your own thing. You know, you're entering college, like there's thousands upon thousands of people here. Like, don't worry about anybody but yourself, you know, like you gotta do what you gotta do and like keep your head on straight and you're just chilling, you know, like that's all I gotta say.
So I'd say I have 2 different pieces of advice. Academic wise, just try. Like I think it's really just as simple as that. Like you're either gonna try or you're gonna not try. So I'd say just be on the try side, you know, like you're gonna be like have like a stack of work and reading, right? You're gonna be like, oh guys, what's the best study strategy? How do I focus? Like there's no like secret, you know, you just have to actually just sit down and do it. So just sit down, do it, and actually try, and you're gonna be just fine. For extracurricular stuff, I'd say fail fast and get up faster. I mean, I started like 2 different clubs that were absolute failures before I finally made moot court, which actually was a little bit successful. And I probably joined like 10 to 12 clubs that I hated before I found like the 3 that I'm like a fan of and still go to their meetings. So like, you know, if you just try something out and then, you know, it doesn't go well, then good, you've ruled out one possibility. So it's not a waste of time to rule stuff out because it gets you closer to finding what you actually want to do. Really important for your first year, you know, just keep trying different stuff and go for it.
All right. And then lastly, some reminders for you all. Deadline to waive the UCI health insurance is September 10th. Your fee deadline to pay for tuition September 15th. If you took like summer classes and stuff, deadline to submit transcripts is September 15th too. UCI move-in is September 16th to 19th. Welcome week is the 20th. For your classes, add drop period ends October 8th at 5 p.m. So make sure to change whatever classes or add what classes you want afterwards or right before then, or you have to pay like a fee and get like additional approval. And then if you all know, there's like the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund given out by the federal government. So UCI got a lot of money this year. And you probably got an email too, but make sure you fill out your FAFSA by October 15th to get that free money because you don't need to return it. And yeah, thank you all for coming. And if you have like questions or anything, feel free to reach out to the Social Science DIC email or join or visit our website.